Welcome to Australia's vast, unforgiving Simpson Desert. Deep red iron-oxide sands stretch infinitely here. Summer temperatures routinely exceed 45 degrees Celsius. This ecosystem receives under 200 millimeters of rain. Towering yellow Spinifex grass provides critical microclimate shelter. Only highly specialized organisms survive this dry furnace. The dingo reigns as the undisputed apex predator here. A 50-pound golden female leads a tight family pack. They regulate prey populations, preventing catastrophic overgrazing. Dingoes possess immense aerobic endurance in extreme heat. Panting regulates their internal thermal baseline efficiently. Nearby, a 200-pound male red kangaroo rests. He licks his forearms to trigger evaporative cooling. Blood vessels near the skin dissipate body heat rapidly. He is the primary prey species for the dingoes. Their evolutionary arms race shapes this harsh landscape. Severe drought has pushed this ecosystem to the brink. Survival is strictly dictated by extreme water conservation. Their dusty golden fur provides flawless desert camouflage. In this harsh land, every step is silent. The predators begin a silent, highly coordinated patrol. Nearby, a towering emu forages near ancient rocks. This avian opportunist consumes seeds, insects, and shoots. Its shaggy plumage reflects intense solar ultraviolet radiation. The alpha breaks cover, initiating a lethal ambush. Instantly, the silent desert erupts into a violent chase. He utilizes specialized elastic Achilles tendons to soar. Bounding conserves massive amounts of kinetic energy. The pack relies on incredible aerobic stamina to exhaust him. But this furnace pushes mammalian physiology to failure. One direct kick can effortlessly disembowel an attacker. The brutal midday sun acts as an impartial executioner. Every muscle fiber burns for precious oxygen and water. The prey seeks the only defensible terrain available. A rocky gorge neutralizes the predator's numerical advantage. The gap closes rapidly as the terrain shifts. He forces the predators into a lethal choke point. The hunt has reached a brutal physical stalemate. He anchors himself, transforming into a deadly biological weapon. The thermal threshold of the predators has been breached. To push further is to invite fatal hypothermia. The alpha makes the brutal, necessary choice to abandon the hunt. Biology and terrain have granted the marsupial another day. The extreme cost of this failure cannot be overstated. In this ecosystem, true dominance belongs to the elements. Suddenly, the red kangaroo breaches the defensive rocks. He utilizes the narrow gorge to block attacks. The overheating dingo pack must abandon the pursuit. Desert heat always collects a heavy physical toll. The predators must find water to avoid fatal hypothermia. Meanwhile, a cold-blooded Perentie monitor lizard emerges. This apex scavenger cleans the desert of decaying carrion. His forked tongue analyzes microscopic scent particles perfectly. Nearby, a tiny thorny devil navigates the sand. This insectivore consumes thousands of venomous ants daily. The lizard never actually drinks water from pools. Microscopic epidermal grooves absorb moisture through capillary action. The morning dew is funneled directly to its mouth. These evolutionary marvels dominate this landscape of absolute aridity. This ecosystem operates on zero biological waste. The harsh sun finally dips below the horizon. A brief thermal relief settles over the dunes. The dingo pack locates a vital muddy soak. Groundwater is the rarest currency in the Outback. The resting kangaroo grooms his fur, regaining strength. The emu calls out, greeting the deep twilight. The Australian outback remains a brutal evolutionary furnace. Only bioengineered masters claim this red dust home. The unforgiving cycle of the desert continues endlessly. Hemis National Park sits at 4,000 meters. The freezing air holds 40% less oxygen. Yet, life clings to these jagged slate cliffs. A herd of Himalayan blue sheep grazes peacefully. They move together as a tightly knit flock. Dozens of eyes constantly scan the steep ridges. Safety in numbers is their ultimate survival strategy. But they are never truly alone up here. High above, a solitary apex predator watches them. He is a massive male snow leopard. A distinct V-notch marks his right ear. He hunts entirely alone in this vast wilderness. Large nasal cavities warm the freezing mountain air. He commands a 50 square mile home range. Winter forces the sheep herd down the mountain. The solitary ghost must follow his only food. He begins his highly calculated, silent, downward descent. Wide paws act as natural padded snowshoes. He spreads his weight across the fragile ice. Below him, one young sheep strays slightly behind. The leopard zeroes in on this single target. His binocular vision calculates the 60-degree drop. The terrain is entirely composed of loose scree. One wrong step guarantees a fatal, catastrophic fall. He drops his white belly to the stone. He creeps forward with total, lethal, solitary silence. The gap closes to exactly 40 precarious feet. His dense muscles coil like tense steel springs. The sheep herd suddenly pauses its steady grazing. One sentinel sheep flicks an alert left ear. It is already too late for the straggler. The ghost explodes from the dark, rocky shadows. He accelerates down the sheer vertical rock face. £400 of force hits the target. A fatal, crushing bite severs the spinal cord. The breathless, solitary hunt is finally over now. He drags the heavy carcass to a cave. But blood scent travels fast on alpine winds. A huge Himalayan griffon vulture circles high above. It waits patiently for its grim, scavenging turn. Below, a solitary red fox approaches very quietly. Its thick auburn coat protects against biting winds. The lone fox will scavenge the frozen scraps. Nothing is ever wasted in this harsh ecosystem. The biological food chain remains perfectly, viciously balanced. This single kill sustains him for 12 days. The leopard guards his hard-earned prize fiercely. He bares his fangs at the solitary fox. The sun dips below the snow-capped peaks. Temperatures plummet to -20 degrees Celsius fast. The mountain returns to eternal, unforgiving, dark silence. The leopard rests his weary chin on paws. It efficiently traps body heat against the cold. He remains the solitary master of this realm. He wraps his thick tail around his face. He will easily endure the long, freezing night. Evolution perfectly engineered him for this brutal isolation. The ghost of the Himalayas silently lives on. Welcome to Queensland in Northern Australia. Here lies the ancient Daintree rainforest. It spans 1,200 square miles. This biome is extremely ancient. It is 100 million years old. Survival demands brutal biological perfection here. High humidity fuels dense vegetation growth. The Boyd's forest dragon clings tight. This micro-reptile is an insectivore. Cold blood dictates its daily survival. But giants rule the muddy waterways. Behold, the apex saltwater crocodile predator. Crocodilus porosus dominates this estuarine zone. Crocodilus porosus dominates this estuarine zone. This male measures 16 massive feet. He weighs over 1,000 pounds. Algae camouflages his dark green scutes. He regulates his immense reptilian metabolism. His heart beats twice per minute. Pale yellow eyes scan the surface. Sensory organs detect microscopic water ripples. On land, a different giant wanders. The southern cassowary approaches the water. She is a flightless mega herbivore. She weighs 130 pounds. Her cranial casque absorbs solar heat. It functions as a thermal radiator. She is a critical seed disperser. Prehistoric cycad seeds contain toxic compounds. Her gastric acid neutralizes the poison. Digestion allows the cycads to sprout. High above, the forest canopy shifts. Spectacled flying foxes awaken at dusk. They boast a 6-foot wingspan. These bats act as vital pollinators. They spread genetic material across miles. However, leaving the roost brings danger. The spotted-tailed quoll hunts up high. This arboreal marsupial is highly carnivorous. It possesses unmatched relative bite force. Nearby, the massive amethystine python waits. Australia's largest snake uses thermal pits. She senses the bat's mammalian heat. The python strikes with blinding velocity. Coils wrap with bone-crushing pressure. Back at the river, tension peaks. Thirsty bats skim the creek surface. The crocodile calculates the precise angle. His powerful tail generates massive thrust. He breaches with explosive kinetic energy. Jaws exert 3,000 pounds pressure. He instantly secures the frantic prey. He initiates the infamous death roll. This biomechanics marvel wastes 0 calories. The kill sustains the apex predator. Scraps drift down the muddy current. Opportunistic scavengers consume the remaining carrion. Ecosystem nutrient cycling is highly efficient. The daintree thrives on these cycles. Every species plays a mathematical role. The crocodile controls the prey populations. The cassowary replants the giant palms. The bats pollinate the canopy flowers. The predators weed out the weak. It is a perfect ecological machine. These animals wear heavy dinosaur armor. True biological perfection does not evolve. It only needs to stubbornly endure. Climate shifts cannot break this balance. The Daintree remains a primeval fortress. It demands our absolute utmost respect. Nature here is brutal, yet beautiful. The ancient emerald heart beats on. Welcome to Danam Valley in Malaysian Borneo. Welcome to Danam Valley in Malaysian Borneo. This primary rainforest lies in Southeast Asia. Giant dipterocarp trees. Up high sit southern pig-tailed macaques. These omnivores act as canopy alarm sentries. Below them, a dark, damp world thrives. Wet leaf litter hides the apex predator. A colossal reticulated python rests completely motionless. She controls the population of forest herbivores. Iridescent geometric scales provide flawless camouflage here. Her milky left eye remains open, watching. This barking deer is a primary prey. Above, the macaque sentry barks a warning.
The monkey sees nothing in the mist.
These organs detect infrared heat radiation perfectly. The warm-blooded muntjac glows in absolute darkness. The snake flicks her forked tongue out. The Jacobson's organ analyzes the chemical. She locks onto the mammal's exact coordinates. The python does not need visual confirmation. The muntjac takes a fatal step forward. Mud coats its right hoof completely now. It lowers its head to graze blindly. The distance closes to under 3 feet. "100 rear-facing teeth snag the deer. The ambush predator drags her prey down. Massive muscular coils envelope the struggling mammal. This is the lethal science of constriction. The deer's desperate kicks finally fade away. Silence reclaims the damp Bornean forest floor. Gastric acids will dissolve bones and hooves. The scent of blood drifts far outward. It travels through the humid rainforest air. An Asian water monitor lizard smells death. This reptile is the ultimate jungle scavenger. Scavengers prevent disease by eating rotting flesh. A jagged dorsal scale marks its neck. It uses precise olfactory tracking to navigate. The heavily armored lizard approaches the site. It waits patiently for the leftover scraps. In Borneo, absolute nutrient recycling is mandatory. The jungle wastes zero biological energy. The macaque troop moves silently away above. Mammalian life burns with fast, nervous energy. Their high metabolisms require constant caloric intake. Reptiles operate with extreme biological efficiency instead. They are masters of cold-blooded endurance. Digestion will take the python several weeks. The python outweights the frantic mammalian pace. Her ancient anatomical design demands infinite patience. Danum Valley sustains its fragile ecological loop. Ground mist thickens across the sprawling roots. Death fuels new life in the dirt. Deep in the heart of Borneo, a sudden shift begins. Shadows swallow the giant dipterocarp trees again. The colossal serpent sleeps while she digests. Survival requires filling a specific ecological niche. Every single species plays a vital part. This wildlife ecosystem remains perfectly, beautifully balanced. It relies on highly acute auditory tracking. It disperses seeds across the forest floor. Welcome to the Lower Zambezi River in Zambia, Africa. This massive river sustains a complex, ruthless ecosystem. An African fish eagle, an avian scavenger, circles above. It spotted a large herd resting in the water. These are adult hippopotamuses, the river's territorial protectors. A vulnerable hippopotamus calf wades among the giant adults. Calves rely entirely on the herd for early survival. Their primary threat hides perfectly beneath the brown water. Meet the Nile crocodile, Africa's premier apex ambush predator. This ancient 15-foot reptile regulates the river's food chain. It controls prey populations by eliminating the weak. Dark, algae-covered scutes provide perfect aquatic camouflage. Pale, lifeless yellow eyes breach the muddy water surface. Crocodiles have sensory pits to detect minute water vibrations. He is learning the ways of the river. Yet this predator moves, producing absolutely zero water ripples. It glides toward the plump, dark grey hippo calf. Its heart rate drops to 2 beats per minute. This physiological mastery defines millions of years of evolution. The hippo calf steps further from the protective herd. It lacks the thick dermal armor of the adults. The hunting distance narrows to less than 1.5 meters. Tension grips the humid, heavy air of the Zambezi. The massive reptile coils its powerful, muscular tail. It prepares to unleash a devastating, explosive ambush strike. A Nile crocodile boasts the highest animal bite force. Giant teeth gnaw wildly at the terrified calf. The vulnerable calf squeals in absolute, high-pitched panic. But hippos possess fierce, hyper-aggressive herd defense instincts. A colossal, 3-ton adult male hippopotamus detects the threat. The battle-scarred territorial protector charges through the water. He reaches speeds of 20 miles per hour aquatic. Huge waves crash as the Titan violently intercepts. Massive, foot-long ivory lower tusks gleam menacingly. Three tons of pure, unstoppable mass crush the reptile. The crocodile's dermal armor cannot withstand this kinetic energy. The water boils into a chaotic, bloody mudstorm. Hippopotamus with mouth wide open 180 degrees. They generate an incredible bite force of up to 2,000 psi. The apex predator is violently overpowered and heavily outmatched. The giant male hippo brutally shoves the reptile away. The defeated crocodile sinks into the dark, murky depths. The terrified calf scrambles toward the sandy, driftwood shore. It seeks refuge beneath massive, green mahogany tree roots. The adult male releases a deafening, victorious territorial roar. His deep, echoing grunts re-establish dominance over the river. The rigid hierarchy of the Zambezi is fiercely restored. The wounded ambush predator surfaces near a quiet sandbar. It must conserve energy to heal its internal injuries. High above, the sharp-eyed African fish eagle circles. This opportunistic avian scavenger searches for floating organic scraps. Nothing goes to waste in this highly efficient ecosystem. Scoradivores recycle energy back into the food chain in Africa. The adult hippo returns to its traumatized small calf. The herd forms a dense, impenetrable defensive biological ring. Adult hippos are the true engineers of this river. Their movements carve deep channels through the muddy riverbed. Heavy river currents finally wash away the churning mud. The Zambezi regains its deceptive, peaceful brown surface calm. But nature here operates on strict, unforgiving empirical laws. Evolutionary perfection means nothing against overwhelming brute force. The ecosystem belongs to the strongest, most ferocious species. Giant mahogany trees cast cooling shadows across the water. The African sun dullow the dusty, golden horizon. The wildlife roster survives another brutal day of existence. The interconnected food chain remains perfectly, ruthlessly in balance. Tomorrow, the biological struggle for life begins once more. The Russian Far East spans 2.4 million square miles. Winter temperatures plunge to negative 30 degrees Celsius. Snowpack reaches incredible depths of nearly 40 inches. Surviving this frozen taiga requires extreme metabolic adaptation. A Eurasian jay monitors the canopy from above. Its specialized memory stores thousands of hidden seed caches. Below, a Siberian roe deer navigates the drifts. It weighs merely 70 pounds in total mass. Foraging beneath the snow burns massive caloric energy. This deer must consume 3 pounds of food daily. But a deadly apex predator stalks this exact grid. The Amur leopard is critically endangered today. Barely 100 individuals remain in the wild. This male weighs 110 pounds. His winter coat is 3 inches thick. Wide paws distribute weight like 10-inch snowshoes. This prevents sinking into the deep, white powder. His core body temperature stays strictly regulated. Golden eyes isolate movement a mile away. Feline night vision is 6 times better than ours. A highly evolved tapetum lucidum reflects minimal light. Dusk lowers the ambient temperature incredibly fast. The roe deer detects a microacoustic shift. Its ears rotate 180 degrees instantly. The jay registers the predator and screams. Sound travels incredibly fast in sub-zero air. The deer accelerates to 35 miles per hour. but the 40-inch snowdrift halts momentum. Thin, sharp hooves pierce straight through the crust. He clears 20 feet in a single bound. The predator closes the final 50-foot gap. A Eurasian lynx avoids the violent collision zone. The lynx weighs 30 pounds less than the leopard. Confronting a top predator guarantees immediate and fatal trauma. Lactic acid floods the deer's exhausted muscles. The leopard strikes with lethal geometric precision. Retractable claws hook into the fleeing prey. A cervical bite severs the spinal cord instantly. The last traces of warmth fade into the freezing 0-degree air. His bite force exceeds 600 psi. The 80-second pursuit ends in sudden death. The predator breathes at 50 breaths per minute. Thermal energy radiates violently from the carcass. This 70-pound meal yields 20,000 calories. Digestion rapidly generates vital internal metabolic heat. The jay maps the kill site for scavenging. Foxes and crows will process the leftover bone. Zero biological matter is wasted in the taiga. The lynx retreats to hunt small rodents instead. The leopard drags 70 pounds up a tree. incredible neck muscles defy the fundamental gravity of the Earth. This protein sustains him for 8 full days. Nighttime drops to -40 degrees Celsius. He rests 20 feet above the frozen ground. His tail acts as a biological thermal scarf. Sunlight penetrates the frozen canopy at dawn. The food chain loop resets itself today. The leopards control the herbivore population density. Without predators, starvation and disease would spread rapidly. The Russian taiga spans millions of frozen acres. It shows absolute zero mercy to physical weakness. Nighttime drops to -40 degrees Celsius. Only biomechanical perfection survives this brutal habitat. Evolved adaptations defeat the freezing Ice Age conditions. The animals dominate a lethal winter landscape. Ancient cedars witness a beautifully violent cycle. The land of the leopard belongs to him. He is a perfectly calibrated biological machine. A phantom forged in ice and burning fire.